Hello and welcome to the Game Lore Archives, and welcome to the beginning of a brand new series. Today we'll be researching the hidden lore of the Diablo games. Going into this, I really thought the lore surrounding Diablo would be nowhere near as in-depth as our previous series, The Elder Scrolls. But as we dug a little deeper, I soon realised that, although the details were slightly more vague,
meaning that the episodes may actually be a little bit shorter,
there is just as much content to go through. So as usual, we have created a huge Diablo timeline and we'll discuss the events in as chronological order as possible, which means today we're going to go right back in time to the creation of the universe. Before we do, quick shout out to our Patreon subscriber Ian, and if anyone else has joined after we record this many years ahead, when thank you so much as well. And thank you, Ian, for your continued support early on. We really appreciate it, and we hope you all enjoy our new lore series. And if you want your own shout out and various other rewards, please check out Patreon.
In the beginning, a single perfect pearl sat among endless nothingness. Inside this pearl lived a being known as Anu.
Anu is also known as the Diamond Warrior, or the One.
Anu was the sum of all things in the universe.
Happy and sad.
Light and dark.
Good and evil.
And Anu slept for untold eons, eternally in a dreamlike state. I was just going to say, I wish I could copy him.
Yeah. I don't want to go for work untold eons later.
As he dreamed, Anu considered itself and all his contradictions, and he wanted a clean slate of perfection and purity. So, to achieve this, he cast all evil from himself, and with this evil gone, the small universe was temporarily a perfect and pure place.
Unfortunately, the perfect and pure universe was not to last. Eventually, the evil Anu had banished gathered itself together and formed into a being known as Tathamet.
The seven-headed dragon.
Tathamet was the polar opposite of Anu. Where Anu was the ultimate good, Tathamet was the ultimate evil. Both bound to the single pearl, and this is the beginning of the war between good and evil. And the two beings battled for an uncountable amount of years. One, because it's a really long time, and two, because calendars haven't been invented yet. However, none of them could ever gain the upper hand or any kind of advantage. And finally, after eons of fighting, tired and out of energy, they both launched their final attack.
As both beings were equally matched in all ways, their final strikes resulted in both of these divine beings killing each other. The attacks were filled with so much energy and fury that the pearl ignited, causing an explosion so monumental that the very universe itself was born as a result. At the centre of the explosion, a land called Pandemonium existed. The explosion ripped Anu apart, destroying most of his body instantly. One eye fell to the middle of Pandemonium, randomly.
It's really a grisly origin
just
story.
One eye, yeah. And his spine drifted through the vastness of space until it formed a crystal arch. Around these arches the high heavens began to form, and the angels were born.
Unlike Anu, Tathamet wasn't blown to smithereens. Instead, his body remained intact as a blackened, charred husk. His corpse floated across the universe until eventually landing in the darkest reaches of reality. Don't know how it lands when it's space, but roll with it. This is the lore. I didn't make it. It just did. It just landed on nothing, alright? And over those remains, the charred flesh began to form the burning hells. The maggots writhing in his rotten flesh transformed into the first demons. But the greatest horrors were yet to come. Each one of Tathamet's 7 heads birthed the greatest horrors of hell, the 7 evils.
After a time, the forces of heaven and hell discovered each other, and the war between the forces of good and evil continued as if it had never ended. Mostly fought in Pandemonium, an impromptu no man's land, and eventually the Eye of Anu was found by the battling forces,
which they referred to as the World Stone.
and both the angels and their demonic counterparts realized that if they gained control of the World Stone, they could utilize its power to win the endless war and wipe their enemy out once and for all. So the eternal conflict continued with a new goal in mind.
Now, it's important to note that this universe where the eternal conflict takes place isn't the only realm of existence. The other realms are separate. We don't know if they're completely separate and were around before and after this universe, or if they were all created as part of this explosion. However, Mibriru Ikura, or something like that, some made-up word beginning with an MBW. Mm-hmm. What words begin MDW?
I think it is it Mwiro Akura is what I go for.
Something like that. Whatever it is, it's normally known as the spirit
world.
That's the easy way to remember it. And it's the realm where all spirits wander and gods supposedly live. Everyone is tied to this realm subconsciously, and it's said that if that connection is ever severed, you won't die, but excruciating pain will be felt. And it's actually this realm where witch doctors tap into when summoning their spirits. And although it's not confirmed, it's likely where necromancers also draw their powers from, although they call it the plane of the dead. Another realm is ether,
or the ethereal realm.
Is another plane of existence where most schools of magic draw from. Finally, limbo exists outside of all of these, a completely different reality with a completely different set of rules of Sanctuary, like time being distorted and slower than Sanctuaries. There are also a few more realms and a lot more details on the one that I've mentioned. However, we're going to save those to discuss the character classes who utilise or worship that specific robe or, have some relevance to it.
And that concludes the creation of the Diablo universe. As always, I hope you enjoyed the first video of the new series, and don't forget to subscribe, and remember that we put our videos out like this every other week. And if you want more lore while you wait, possibly check out our Elder Scrolls lore, or even our Witcher lore if you haven't already. Anyway guys, we'll see you next week.